StudyIQ IAS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar. Today we are doing lecture 40 and that lecture is about, we are in modern history and we have to talk about 12 most important organizations before INC, that is Indian National Congress. When we're talking about tribal movements, then what we have done, we had divided it into like Eastern India, tribal movements in Eastern, Western, Northern and Southern. Similarly, here also 12 most important organization will divide it into Eastern, Western, Northern, Southern. And as you had seen earlier, that like most of these tribal movements happen in Eastern India. So you will see these important organizations or organizations before INC. Most of them would be formed in Eastern India. And you have to remember these organizations. Once we are done with these organizations, at the end you will have 6-7 questions. Some of these questions have been asked in UPSC. Some of these questions have been asked in some other exams. You have to solve those questions based on what we are reading today. So yes, sir. So let's start the discussion. Political associations before INC, and here we have to understand certain things. INC, Indian National Congress. Good evening, Vani. Good evening, Vastaram. And I now understood the meaning of your name, Vastaram. So again, what we are discussing here is political association. Indian National Congress, we have to talk about it. We'll talk about it later on in subsequent lectures. So before 1885, see this, what is written here. And I am telling you to focus here. So what is written here? Early half of 19th century. That means before 1850s. So there is a time period from 1801 to 1850. So some organization we will see, like let's say Banga Bhasha Prakashika Sabha or Landholders Association. Good evening, Kritika. So you will understand that these organizations have been formed by people who are from wealthy or aristocratic class or landholders. So they have their specific grievances which they want Britishers to address. But when we'll go into the when we'll cross 1850 and we'll see some different organizations, you will see more and more people are becoming part of these organizations, although these organizations will have their own issues which we'll discuss later on. Cool. So do remember they were dominated by earlier organizations before 1850s, dominated by wealthy, aristocratic, landholders people, and they were local or regional in character. And some of these early organizations will be formed by followers of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and some of them would be even adversaries of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, like Radhakant Dev. We have talked about Radhakant Dev when we were doing socio-religious reform movement, how he was a rival of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and he was very forward-looking in so many things, but he also supported Sati. So very, very interesting personality, Raja Radhakant Dev. Okay, so Indian National Movement, again here, these early organizations which were formed before 1850s, they are doing all these things, association, they're asking for these demands, prayer petition and all these things will be going on. Fine, you can have a look at it. We can discuss about all these things later on. But second half of 19th century, 1850 onwards, when we will talk about Indian Association and some other organizations, you will see that the grievances or the demands will increase from Indians, and the demands will be of varied nature. That is what is being stated here in this slide, and that is happening because now you have representations from varied sections. It's not only confined to aristocratic class or landholder society, blah blah blah, and that is what is again written here. Very good. So again, 12 organizations will divide it into Eastern, Western and so on and so forth. And around 6 organizations are in Eastern India. Pay attention to them. We have to solve, I think, 7 or 8 questions at the end and you have to get all of them correct. Very good. So, political associations in Eastern India, early associations like Banga Bhasha Prakashika Sabha, Zamindari Association, etc., they were formed by the followers or rivals of Raja Ram Mohan Roy or both. So, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, very important. We have talked about him earlier in social religious reform movement. So, we are not going to again talk about the same stuff. Just remember, there is an important thing here. They can ask you from pre-perspective, who was known as Morning Star of reform movement? This is a new information. Then this thing that he was the first great leader of modern India, we have discussed it, but they can ask you this, Morning Star of Reform India. And I have also told you there that you can even in mains, you can write he was one of the first great leader or one of the, first modern man of India. You will be safe in that regard. Fine. So again, Bol Bachchan and all those jibber jabber stuff is written here. You can have a look at it. We have to talk about important things. First important organization is Bang Bhasha Prakashika Sabha, formed by follower of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. You can see the name Gauri Shankar Tarka Bagesh. You can forget the name, but very important thing which we have seen from the questions asked by UPSC and other exams and other PSCs is the dates. These dates are very important. Sometimes they will, and they have already, like asked when was Banga Bhasha Prakashika Sabha formed, when was Zamindari Association formed. So dates are very important. Keep a tab on the dates plus the 12 organization which we will talk about. Okay, sir and ma'am. So it was formed, again you can see here, Gauri Shankar Tarka Bagesh, and again since it is an organization which was formed before 1850s, so they have their own localized grievances, and these are wealthy people, petition memorandums. Second organization which is actually very important is Landholders Association or Zamindari Organization, or Zamindari, you can say Landholder Society or Zamindari Association. The name is telling you who these people are. And then there are certain interesting things also, like you will see this guy, and I think you may have seen him earlier somewhere. If you have seen him anywhere earlier, you can write it in the comment section, where have you seen this guy. So why we have to talk about this guy with, Zamindari Association or Landholder Society? His name is Arturo or Arturito. There is a series which is known as La Casa de Papel, and it is also known as Money Heist. So something we will understand why we have to talk about this guy. So Landholder Society, Zamindari Association, you can see who are the people who are involved in the formation of Landholders Society. And again, when was it formed? There is a question mark here because different sources will tell you different dates. Some sources will tell you 1837. Some sources will tell you 1838, but maximum sources will converge on 1838. So remember 1838. Who are the founders? This particular organization is important because this will play a role in formation of subsequent organizations later on. So you have to keep this, as Vastra is saying, La Casa de Papel. Very good. You have to keep this organization in mind. So Dwarkanath Tagore. Now here, let's try to understand what is happening here. Dwarkanath Tagore, Prasanna Kumar Tagore, Radhakant Deb. We have talked about Radhakant Deb. He was one of the rivals of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Radhakant Deb. Just give me a second. Let me skip the ad, which I am seeing in front of me. So Radhakant Deb, he was one of the rivals of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and we have talked about him earlier. Dwarkanath Tagore, he was one of the people who was the follower or a friend, whatever you want to call him, or a colleague of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Dwarkanath Tagore. He is the grandfather of Rabindranath Tagore. If I'm not wrong, Dwarkanath Tagore, Debindranath Tagore, and then you have Rabindranath Tagore. So Dwarkanath Tagore, very important personality. If I'm not wrong, he's also participated in the opium cultivation, or he took part in that opium trade which used to happen a lot during that period. Okay, so do remember this Tagore family, they are here, there, everywhere. So why this thing is very interesting is, like you have Dwarkanath Tagore, you have Prasanna Kumar Tagore, and many of these are followers of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and then you also have an adversary of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, that is Radhakant Deb here. So that's why we are saying this whole thing, that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he died in 1830s, early 1830s. This Jamindari Association was formed around 1837-38. He died around 1833. Maybe when he was in heaven, he must have been feeling like, dude, what is happening here? My friends and foes are coming together. My friends and enemies are coming together to form this particular Landholder Society or Zamindari Association. These kind of cheap memes will help you in remembering via stories. You will help, because these organizations can become very boring. So you have to associate them with some story so that you can remember it in a much better manner. So again, as the name suggests, you can see what their grievances are. At times, now, things will get interesting from here. There is an organization in London whose name is British India Society, formed by William Adam. Now, this particular society is very much concerned about what is happening in India, and they want to tell to the London people, to the British people, that see, this is happening with India and we have to, increase reforms in India, be it legislative or executive. We have to do something about it. So they had these two guys were cooperating, Landholder Society, British India Society. Then they realized, the British India Society realized that we have to have a branch in India. And then they formed something known as Bengal British India Society. We are talking about Radhakant Deb, Dharm Sabha, and he was the adversary of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Please revise these things. This is important. And Raja Ram Mohan Roy died in 1833. Landholder Society, Zamindari Association formed in 1837-38. Okay. Now, Bengal British India Society, we have just seen there is a British India Society in London who are concerned about our well-being. They felt like we have to be in India if you want to know about Indians in a much better manner. So they will establish their branch, Bengal British India Society. Now things are interconnected here. Second organization, third organization, fourth organization, you will see a connection here. Oh, just give me a second again. Adams report, sir. Yeah, you can say that. Adams report in which regard? Vastram. Okay, Adams report, I got the point. William Adam, he published a report related to the grievances of Indians. Fine. So let's come back to Bengal British India Society. So they formed their own society in Bengal to know about Indians in a much better manner. And that's what they are trying to understand. That what is the cause of sorrow of Indians? Like there is a movie, I don't know how much you can see it. And Vicky Kaushal was there in that movie. These days, Vicky Kaushal is known for acting in some unique kind of movies. Earlier, he used to act in these movies like Masan, which was an awesome movie. So here he's saying that why there is so much sorrow. To understand the sorrow of Indians, Bengal British India Society was established. And then what happened? This Landholders Association and British India Society, they already had a pact. They already are very close to each other and they are two bodies, one soul. So they later on decided, Landholders Society and Bengal British India Society, that let's come together and form an organization which will be formed. And this is a very, very important organization. Up until now, we have read about 4 organizations. This is the most important organization, exactly as Vastram is saying. British Indian Association formed in 1851 due to the collaboration or via the collaboration of Landholders Society or Zamindari Association formed by the friends and foes of Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Bengal British India Society, which is one of the branch of British India Society of William Adam. So it merged into British Indian Association. Up until now, this is the most important organization out of the 4. And later on, this British Indian Association, they will also form their branch in Bombay and Madras. We'll talk about those 2 branches. They will become 2 other important organizations in 1852. So 1851, British Indian Association. And you will see, like this particular association or organization is just not for namesake. It's not like they are existing just for formality. They asked for something and they did get something. So here we'll also talk about some acts that how successful they were. Okay. So again, they sent suggestions, establishment of separate legislature of a pop. Again, you can read these things. Separation of executive from judicial function. See, if you read polity, in polity, you have, and in Directive Principles of State Policy, you have Article 50. Which talks about separation of legislature, executive and judicial function. Let's say you become an IS officer, and while let's say you will become an IS officer, you are working hard for it. So earlier what used to happen was an IS officer or DM, he had executive powers, he also had judicial powers. He was also a judicial magistrate. And when you will read polity, you will realize there is legislature, there is executive, there is judiciary. Legislature will make law, executive will implement law, and judiciary will check constitutionality of laws, you know. So there has to be some separation of power. Earlier it was not. You were an IS officer, you were also a judicial magistrate, and Article 50 talks about separation of such functions. And similar kind of grievances were, you know, like put forward by British Indian Association in 1851. Do remember it. And again, there is a meme here. What is the meaning of this meme? That earthquake in Delhi comes like whenever it wants to. Similarly, you will see one personality who will crop up or pop up or whatever you want to call it. He will come again and he will become the president of this British Indian Association, and he will be none other than, you know, Radhakant Deb. So Radhakant Deb, sir, you will see he is active till very late. His enemy, his foe, Raja Ram Mohan Roy has died in 1833, but he is still active right now. So Radhakant Deb, we have seen how contradictory personality he is, and we have talked about him in social religious reform movements also, and here also you have to keep him in your mind rather. So do remember him, he is important. Okay, sir. So British Indian Association, up until now, please remember this is the most important organization. They are talking about all these things: separation of executive from legislative function, abolition of abakari tax, and see, they have talked about separation of executive from judicial function, legislative functions, and 1851 they were formed. And when we were talking about acts, we have talked about this particular act, Charter Act of 1853. And the most important provision of Charter Act of 1853, when we have talked about it, was separation of legislative and executive function, if you remember it. Viceroy has an earlier Viceroy has a council, and then it was divided into legislative and executive council. So do remember it, it is actually very, very important. And this also shows some amount of success which British Indian Association enjoyed. And that is a very immediate success. So this is important because they had success. So it becomes more important. Don't forget this particular organization. Anything and everything related to this organization is important. It was formed by merging which 2 other organizations. All these things are important. Okay, sir. Then British Indian Association, again we are talking about it. They also talked about abolition of abakari tax. So all these things are fine. Salt duty, stamp duties, you can understand it. What is abakari tax? So taxes which are levied on, let's say, wine. As this ma'am is saying that wine is not bad at that time also, because it lowers your bad cholesterol. At that time people also had similar opinions that we should drink wine a little bit, you know. Some people even drink wine on the pretext that it is medicinal in nature. So many people were like, we have to remove this tax on wine, that is called abakari tax. So do remember it. In the terms section also they can ask you, what is abakari tax? So abakari tax is one form of tax on wine, and they talked about reducing it. Fine, sir. That's it. Now let's talk about the fifth most important organization before INC formation in 1885. And again, this organization is also there in the Bengal region. Here you will see two people. Just like we were talking about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Radhakant Deb, and they were like foes, adversaries. Here also you will see two guys. One is Shishir Kumar Ghosh, who is more known, more than this India or Indian League, he is more known for his Amrita Bazar Patrika, which was a noted Bengali newspaper. And because of this newspaper only, Vernacular Press Act, mainly because of this newspaper, and they posted so many things against Britishers, against Lord Lytton, that Vernacular Press Act was introduced, about which we have talked, I think, in the yesterday's lecture. Jai Hind, Deepshika. So what we are discussing here. So India League, here again, just like we were talking about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Radhakant Deb, here we will talk about Shishir Kumar Ghosh and his friend come rival come adversary, that is Surendranath Banerjee. So again you will see, if he does something, Surendranath Banerjee will do something. If Surendranath Banerjee does something, he will do something. They are strict rivals. Surendranath Banerjee, he is very popular. I think many people know him more than Shishir Kumar Ghosh, but these two guys, they are very, very important when you talk about, you know, for organization formation and different publications. Like he introduced, or he published this Amrita Bazar Patrika at the end of 1860s, around 1868-69. You will see his adversary, Surendranath Banerjee, he will start a journal called Bengali. Sometimes what happens, people, when they prepare for UPSC pre, etc., and they are solving questions, they will make a note of all these journals. You don't need to do that. Just listen to it like a story, and whenever these names come up, read it multiple number of times, solve mocks. That's it. It's like when you try to mug up all these journal at once, that won't help you. But these stories will. So Amrita Bazar Patrika associated with Shishir Kumar Ghosh, and then after that, Surendranath Banerjee will bring his own journal that is known as Bengali. And it's very easy to remember it. Surendranath Banerjee, his name is Banerjee, and he published a journal called Bengali. So both of these are ending with EE. So remember these, that will actually help you. Indian Burk. Yes, Charita. Very good, yeah. So again, Indian League was started by Shishir Kumar Ghosh. Again, he's trying to do certain things. So Indian League was formed by him in 1875. Now his adversary, Surendranath Banerjee, will start an organization in 1876. So you can see intense competition between Shishir Kumar Ghosh and Surendranath Banerjee. And these are the things which you have to keep in mind. This is Amrita Bazar Patrika. Now, the rival of Shishir Kumar Ghosh, that is Surendranath Banerjee, he will form, 1 year after he will form Indian Association, which is much more popular. Now, up until like we have done 6 organizations, this is the 6th organization. This is the most important organization. This is even more important than the 1851 organization which we have seen, which was formed by merging 2 other organizations. This Indian Association will later on, in 1886, if I am not wrong, it will merge with Indian National Congress. It paved the way for formation of Indian National Congress. So again, we'll talk about it. And it played a crucial, it talked about so many things. See the year of formation of Indian Association, 1876. And yesterday we have talked about Governor, Governor General and Viceroys. You can watch that video if you haven't. Who was the Governor General? Like if I ask you from 1876 onward till 1880, who was the Governor General / Viceroy? Viceroy will be a more correct term to use here. Any idea who was the Viceroy during this period from 1876 to 1880? Sir and ma'am, my voice is gone. My voice is gone. Chepandis Chepu Telsu Ledu Kadu. Oh, I'm hearing my own voice. So the name of that guy was, always connect the dots. You don't have to read history in silos. So 1876, when Indian Association was formed, at that time and from here onwards, there will be a guy who will be the viceroy. His name will be Lord Lytton. And we know Lord Lytton is a bad boy. And Lord Ripon was a good boy. We have talked about all these things. Lord Lytton, 1876 to 1880. Lord Ripon, 1880 to 1884. Ripon is a good guy and Lytton is such a bad guy. And maybe that's why Britishers sent Lord Ripon. So he is doing so many stupid things. Lord Lytton, he is facing issues in Second Anglo-Afghan War. And then he is introducing Vernacular Press Act. He is introducing Arms Act. He, in fact, even reduced the age of maximum age for Indian civil services from 21 to 19. So Indian Association talked and attacked a lot of these issues of which were propped up or which were cropping up because of the stupidities of Lord Lytton, with due respect to Lord Lytton. The bad guy, evil, very good. So again, you can understand, and that played a crucial role. And you will see slowly and gradually, they will relax all these things. And Vernacular Press Act will be repealed. So you can take it as an achievement of Indian Association. They protested against Vernacular Press Act. It was passed in 1878, Vernacular Press Act, and by 1882, it will be repealed. So again, this organization played a crucial role. And this particular image is about the competition. You know, sometimes your sibling rivalry will be so much. You have these sibling rivalries. If your sister is doing good, you want to do better than her and something like that. So again, here there is some rivalry going on between Surendranath Banerjee and Shishir Kumar Ghosh. Both of them very important. But if you ask, or if I have to ask you, out of these two guys, Surendranath Banerjee and Shishir Kumar Ghosh, Amrita Bazar Patrika, whom do you consider or whom do you feel like is the more important nationalist leader? Both are important in their own regards, but your personal opinion is what? Declared himself Empress himself, or Queen Victoria Empress. So who is more important, Surendranath Banerjee or Shishir Kumar Ghosh? What is your opinion about it? And the more you talk about it, the more you will be able to remember these guys. Very good. So yes, sir, as Charita said, Surendranath Banerjee. And again, up until now, sixth organization we are talking about, this is the most important organization. It played a crucial role in reversing the policies of Lord Lytton. And maybe because of this organization, we were sent a liberal viceroy, that is Lord Ripon. Lord Ripon was sent maybe to fix the mess created by Lytton. Oh my God, Kritika, very good. Where are you from, Kritika? Which place? So create a strong public opinion on political question. You can read these things. Demanded simultaneous holding of civil services exam. At that time, civil services exam used to happen in London. And these guys are like, bro, how can we go to London? It's not like, you know, Agartala or Guwahati or Silchar or Patna or Lucknow. It's London, bro. So what, like this meme, what he's trying to say is, I cannot go to London. This is just such, like this is so sad. I cannot go there. And that's why he's so sad and he has this tired thing. Okay, cool. Yes, you told me, I remember. So it led a campaign against the Repressive Arms Act and Vernacular Press Act. And because, and you can even write it in your pre-exam, it will help you. In mains also you can write, because of Indian Association, maybe Britishers were forced to send the liberal viceroy, Lord Ripon, from 1880 to 1884. Hope you can understand what we are trying to do here. We are trying to connect today's class with yesterday's class so that you can remember these Governor, Governor General, viceroys in a much better manner, because history is linked, and that's what will happen. When we will read subsequent lecture, you will hear about these guys multiple number of times and you will be able to remember them. Very, very good. Okay, so Indian Association sponsored all, again you can read these things, they had an all India conference and it paved the way for formation of Indian National Congress, and then in 1886 it merged with Indian National Congress. Annual subscription rate was 5 rupees, and this will be one of the major cause why all these associations will be very localized. Later on in mains they can ask you this question. From pre-perspective also keep it in mind that we are talking about 12 most important organizations before INC. 6 we have already discussed. So why they were localized in nature? What was there in INC which was not there in these organizations? Sometimes this happens, right? So you move on from someone and that someone will ask you that what is there in her or him which is not there in me? Similarly, oh my God, this is so stupid. Similarly, people can ask, UPSC can ask that what was there in INC which was not there in these 12 organizations? So this is one of the issues which was there. The annual subscription rate of these organizations were very high, relatively high for their time. Rupees 5 per annum may not matter much now, but at that point of time, it was high. And this is for Indian Association. For other organizations, sometimes it was much higher than that. INCs for all. Oh my God, Charita. I don't want to comment on anything right now related to these things. Okay. So now, Sir Surendranath Banerjee, personalities, they are important from pre as well as mains perspective. I think in one particular mains, UPSC has tried to compare the policies of Rabindranath Tagore and Gandhiji, which was taken from class 7th or 8th NCERT. So these personalities important from both pre as well as mains perspective, sir. So he is Rashtra Guru. He is very similar. Again, he cracked civil services examination, but he was not allowed to work, as you can see here. And already a PYQ has been framed from this particular fact. Surendranath Banerjee, important, very important. Found the Ripon College. You can see here, Ripon College, based on the name like Lord Ripon. It's not like only we people like Ripon. Even Surendranath Banerjee and other guys liked Ripon because Ripon was actually good. So we have one good viceroy now, Lord Ripon, father of decentralization and all those stuff. So now called Surendranath College. So please remember, the most important point related to him is that Indian Association thing you have to remember. Bengali journal, please remember. Surendranath Banerjee ends with double E and Bengali ends with double E. So that will help you in remembering the names. Very, very good. Indian Association, again we are talking about all these things. Lytton, he was the evil guy and he reduced the Indian Civil Services examination maximum age to 19 years. Oh my God, 19 years. It's almost like half my year. No, I'm currently 21 only. So that's just a joke. So this is such a less, maximum age. This is not even introductory age, bro. This is the maximum age. So people protested against him and those protests yielded result. Later on, the age was increased. Surendranath Banerjee, very important personality. Indian Association played a very crucial role in the introduction of the liberal viceroy, so-called Lord Ripon. Who formed Ripon College? The answer is Surendranath Banerjee. Now let's come back. And Ripon, all people love him. Members from all strata representation. Okay, you people are cool. So let's talk about the EE connection. Exactly. Political associations in Western India. So we have seen political associations in Eastern India 6 and then Western, Southern, Northern all combined 6 because we know Bengal is the epicenter. Most of the things are happening here and sometimes, as I think told you earlier also, my sister is married in Bengal. She is staying there in Newtown area. So because I read history, I teach history. So I tell her about the contribution of Bengal and everything and tell it to her in-law family, and sometimes she gets angry at me that they're anyway very proud being a Bengali and we are Biharis. So don't tell them don't make them super proud. It creates problem for me, bhaiya. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, sister. So these things happen and Bengali people are anyway very proud and they're very cute also. Let's come back to the topic here. Political associations in Western India. So we have talked about 6 organizations. We have to talk about 6 more organizations. 2 of these organizations will be an offspring of an organization formed in 1851 by the merger of 2 earlier organizations. So all these things will happen now. Bombay Association is one such association. It is, the branches. This British India Association was formed after merging the Landholders Association and the Association of William Adam. So this British India Association has one branch in Bombay, other branch in Madras. Both were formed in 1852. So this is Bombay Association. You can think of it as a branch of British India Association. And this British India Association of 1858 was very important before the Indian Association of Surendranath Banerjee because they played a crucial role in the separation of Viceroy's Executive and Legislative Council, which was done in 1853 Act. We have talked about all these things. Yes. Why your sister married Bengali? We never have answers for these whys, Charita. Because she studied in Bengal, she married a Bengali because she loved that Bengali. And we don't mind all these stuff, Anyone can marry anyone. You just need to have a good partner. And it's very rare to find a good partner. Fingers crossed, she got a good partner. So let's move on. And okay. So Charita deviated me. So where I was. British India Association, Calcutta, one branch. Bombay Association will see another branch related to Madras, which will be formed in the same year, 1852, 1 year after the formation of British India Association. Okay, sir. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. What's the problem in that? No, there's no problem in anything, Kritika. Let's focus, bros. Let's focus. We are deviating from the topic here. 12 most important organization before INC. We are talking about the 8th most important organization. We have come to Western India now. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. There is a question mark related to the date of formation. There are two theories related to formation of Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. One theory states that Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was formed in 1867 by Ganesh Vasudev Joshi. Second theory says that no sir, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was formed in 1870 by Mahadev Govind Ranade. So there are two interpretations, two theories. We don't have to go there. Nobody is going to ask you the date and the year. These two are important leaders, founding members of Pune Sarvajanik Sabha that you have to remember, Ganesh Vasudev Joshi and Mahadev Govind Ranade. Mahadev Govind Ranade, M.G. Ranade, we have also talked about him in socio-religious reform movement when we have discussed that he was one of the founders of Indian National Social Conference, which was the social wing of Indian National Congress, which was formed in 1887 because Congress were very hesitant to talk about sensitive issues like religion, which even right now is the reality as well. Okay, so we have talked about all these things, and this is a precursor of INC, and Pune Sarvajanik Sabha will also play a crucial role. They will talk about Indian representation in House of Commons. They are not only talking about Indian representation in India's Legislative and Executive Council. They are saying that we need our representation in British House of Commons in London. It's not only confined like India is fine, but where does the real power of British Crown or British Parliament lies? In London. So we want a true Indian to represent us in British House of Commons. And that will become a reality in 1890s. When Dada Bhai Naroji, who else? He is here, there, everywhere when you talk about him. He became the President of Congress thrice. He started the journal Rust Gufta, wrote a book exposing Britishers' drain of wealth theory, poverty and un-British rule in India. So this guy is here, there, everywhere. So Dada Bhai Naroji will become the first Indian to represent us in British House of Commons in around 1893. And that happened majorly because Pune Sarvajanik Sabha raised this issue that we want Indian representation not just here in India's Legislative and Executive Council, but even in the British House of Commons. I thought his sister didn't know the Bengal. Okay, so you people are talking among yourself only, bros. Focus. We can talk about all these things later on. So again, that is what is written here. Lokmanya Tilak, all these guys, they became very famous. In fact, one of the most popular organization. Even now, people talk about Pune Sarvajanik Sabha and their contribution with great and high regard. Okay, sir. Bombay Presidency Association, 1885. Again, there are so many organizations, so you don't have to just remember each and everything related to them. Important thing is, when was it formed, the year, and who were the founding members? Badruddin Tayyabji, these personalities are important because when you will talk about INC, Indian National Congress, formed in 1885, and I think I have told you this thing zillion number of times, that is just an exaggeration, that or like initial 4 Congress leaders or 4 Congress president of INCs, they were from 4 different religion. 1885, Umesh Chandra Banerjee, he's a Hindu. Then 1886, Dada Bhai Naroji is the Congress president. He is a Parsi. 1887, you have Badruddin Tayyabji, who is the president of Indian National Congress. He is a Muslim. 1888, you have George Yule as the president, who is a Christian. 4 people, 4 different religion. 4 years, 4 different religion. So that's how you can also remember Badruddin Tayyabji. He is one of the founding members of Bombay Presidency Association, others being Firoz Shah Mehta and K.T. Telang. Firoz Shah Mehta is a very prominent moderate leader and who will have a considerable say in Congress policies from 1885 to 1905. He was a very popular jurist also. He very expensive advocate as well. He charged a lot, just like Ram Jeth Malani and Prashant Bhushan. I don't know how much Prashant Bhushan charged these days. Ram Jeth Malani is a very expensive lawyer. So Firoz Shah Mehta, he had an aura. If you read more about him, although you don't need to read much about, like too much about him until or unless you have history optional, you will realize that this guy had an aura. He had so much aura that for 20 years, from 1885 to 1905, he curbed the influence of extremists. These Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, other people whom we will talk about later on, he curbed their influence. People were terrified of Firoz Shah Mehta. Such was his aura. Again, don't worry about it. Bengali is a very sweet language. Being a non-Bengali, I like this. Bros, you people have to focus here. So again, it championed Indian interest. You can read all these things, and hosted the first meeting of INC in Bombay at the end of 1885. And all these members later on will become or play a crucial role in Indian National Congress. So, how to remember these names? By listening to them multiple number of times, and that will happen a lot now because these guys, you will hear about them a lot in when you're reading INC as well. Focus bros, 8 organizations we have read. We still have to read 4 more organizations. Once we are done with those 4 more organizations, we'll solve 7 or 8 questions which were asked in UPSC or some PSC or some other exam. So you have to focus. Political associations in southern India. This is what we were discussing. That, 1851 particular organization was formed by the merger of 2 previous associations, organizations. So they had 2 branches, one in Bombay and the second one in Madras. Madras Native Association formed. Both these branches in Bombay and Madras formed in the same year, 1852. And here, Gajlu Lakshmi Narsu Chetty. And again, this is a branch of British Indian Association. That's what we have discussed. And the founder is Gajlu Lakshmi Narsu Chetty. So you will remember these names. It's just 12 organization. And there is a linkage between Madras Native Association and the British Indian Association of 1851. So don't worry too much about it. Yes, sir. So let's focus. Madras Mahajan Sabha 1884. G. Subramania Iyer. This, sir, you cannot forget, because these days when UPSC aspirants, serious UPSC aspirants who are very, dedicated towards UPSC preparation, they focus on two newspaper. Which 2 newspaper they focus on? Do they focus on, Times of India and all those stuff? No. The 2, like Times of India is good. Dainik Jagran, everything is good. I don't know much about them. Times of India is very good for all those Bollywood, Hollywood related news. Who is dating whom? But you don't have to focus right now on who is dating whom. All these gossip stuff can wait for some time. Hindu and Indian Express I'm talking about. Mostly people follow these 2 newspapers, Hindu or Indian Express. G. Subramania Iyer. He is associated with which newspaper, Hindu or Indian Express? Take a guess. And that's how you remember these personalities, when you associate them with other things. Charita and Kritika Pandey, they gave the answer, that is Hindu. So G. Subramania Iyer, founding member of the Hindu newspaper. And M. Veera, again, you can forget all these guys, you will not forget these guys, don't worry, it's just 12 organizations, we have done 11. G. Subramania Iyer, you cannot forget, he is associated with the Hindu. And today people eat samosa kachori on the Hindu newspaper, but again, that's fine. And this sir here is G. Subramania Iyer. That's not fine, but it is what it is. So G. Subramania Iyer, Hindu, Madras Mahajan Sabha, these are some facts which you will remember once you solve some questions. And then the last organization of the day, political association in England. As we have talked about, and we'll keep on talking about one particular personality who will be here, there, everywhere, and that is Dadabhai Naoroji. So he will form an organization in England. Dadabhai Naoroji is so awesome, because you will read about him like, you'll be like, dude, how can one guy do so many things? But yes, maybe he was so, you have to check about how many, like, was Dadabhai Naoroji married or not? I have not looked into his personal life because I feel like we should respect other people's personal life. So now this is your work. I'm giving this to you. Find out about Dadabhai Naoroji's personal life. We are interested in knowing, like, how can he do so many stuff, bro? He can become, like, he became Congress president thrice. He started this particular association in England. He became the member of House of Commons, first Indian member in House of Commons in 1893. He wrote a book exposing British reign of wealth, poverty and un-British rule in India. Oh, he started a journal called Rast Guftar. How come? He was even a part of Rahnumai Margdarshan Sabha, which was a Parsi social, associated Parsi social reform movement. Dadabhai Naoroji, grand old man of India. So this is your work to find out about the personal life of Dadabhai Naoroji. How he got so much time. We all have only 24 hours. Okay. So East India Association, he formed it in London, again, to address or talk about these people, that what is happening in India. There was a society, Ethnology Society of London. They were like, you people, you brown people, white man's burden, Rudyard Kipling, all these things they were talking about. And then, just like this ma'am, Dadabhai Naoroji said, how dare you? So they countered the propaganda of Ethnological Society of London. Just like in today's world, we have to counter the propaganda spread by different entities. That is very important. Okay. To maintain unity in our society. So precursor of INCs, why these organizations? They remain localized in nature. One thing is they were local. They had local aspirations. As we have seen earlier, before 1850s, landholders, all these guys were there. They had specific grievances, and they were named also like this: Landholders Association, Landholder Society, or Zamindari Association. But after 1850, it started expanding. So this is one region, localized grievances. Second, which we have discussed, that some of these organizations' subscription fee went as high as rupees 50. The organization formed by Surendra Nath Banerjee, it was hovering around rupees 5, but it also went as high as rupees 50. And so when they used to, invest that much amount of money, the family members would be like, where are you spending this much amount of money? And you can understand. So these are some reasons. There are other reasons also, but these are some reasons why these organizations did not become, nationalistic or did not spread nationwide like INC did. Okay, sir. Let's solve some questions now. Let's get serious now. So this is your first question. If it is a PYQ, like MCQ is, it has been asked in some other exam, let's say PSC, etc. If it has been asked in UPSC, this MCQ will be replaced by PYQ. That means it has been asked in UPSC. So let's focus on the first MCQ of the day, which has been asked in some PSC. I will even ask you, based on the options they have given, which PSC do you think they have asked this particular question? Bombay Presidency Association was established by, then we'll see some questions asked by UPSC. Firoz Shah Mehta, K.T. Telang, W.C. Banerjee, Badruddin Tayabji, E. None of the above, more than one of the above. Charita, Kritika, Vastaram. Very good, yaar. Hindu. So as Charita said, oh my God. Yes, sir. So Bombay Presidency Association was established by Firoz Shah Mehta, K.T. Telang. And again, I can understand that you have just read these 12 organizations. It's not like you will read it and you will just retain it in your mind. So you have to solve these questions. That's why Badruddin Tayabji, all these guys are involved. So that's why E option. So there was a time when BPSC used to ask these kind of options, make these kind of options. They have eliminated it. So this was a question, I think, asked by BPSC. We'll come to UPSC questions as well. But practice these questions irrespective, like for these questions, UPSC, like UPSC, we have to see and we will see. And most of us, what happens is when you solve these PYQs so many times, you remember these stuff. So that's why you have to solve mocks and sometimes other exams also, UPSC, NDA, CDS, and once you're done with that, you can even have a look at some of these PSC questions. Okay, second question, again asked in some other PSCs. So which political organization was first formed in Maharashtra in 1852? And that's why I was telling you, remember the dates. These dates are, sir, there is no option. There was option. So these were the options. Second question, which political organization was first formed in Maharashtra in 1852? Bombay Association, East India Association, Sarvajanik Sabha, D. Bombay Presidency Association. Vastaram has given the answer. Charita has given the answer, and the answer is Bombay Association. It was one of the branches of East, like, the Bengal Association, which was formed by Clubbing Landholder Society, and the organization formed by William Adams. So the answer is A, Bombay Association. Very good. When was Zamindari Association established in India? Some exam. A, again, one thing which you are realizing from the organization, 12 important organization, most important organization before INC, is the date part. Date part, you have to keep it in mind. Founders, it's fine, but date part is important. The chronology part is important. So when was Zamindari Association established in India? And this will help you. We'll see UPSC PYQ on these organizations. You will realize that these dates will help you in eliminating options as well. A, 1876, B, 1838, C, 1834, D, 1890. So when was Zamindari Association established? Charita, Vastaram, they have given the answer. So the answer is, I have told you, Zamindari Association formed by, Prasanna Kumar Tagore, then you have grandfather of Rabindranath Tagore, and then you have Radha Kandev. All these guys are there, and that there is a doubt related to 1837 or 1838. There is no option called 1837 here, so obviously you will pick 1838, and obviously it will take time for you to remember the dates associated with these 12 organizations. Good evening, VN. Very good, Bulbul. So the answer is 1838. The answer is B, but the point is Dwarkanath Tagore. The point is you people tried it. That is very good. Next question, PYQ 4. That means this is a question asked by UPSC earlier. PYQ and MCQ will help you segregate this. So UPSC asked this question, which one of the following submitted in 1875 a petition to House of Commons demanding India's direct representation in British Parliament? A, Deccan Association, B, Indian Association, C, Madras Mahajan Sabha, D, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Some sources mention 1837, some say 1838. Very good, Vastara. So again, UPSC PYQ, which one of the following submitted in 1875 a petition to House of Commons demanding India's direct representation in the British Parliament? What is the name of this organization? A. Deccan Association, B. Indian Association, C. Madras Mahajan Sabha, D. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. So Vastaram has given the answer. See, Indian Association associated with Surendranath Banerjee was formed in 1876. So they cannot time travel and go 1 year back. So B is eliminated. Madras Mahajan Sabha formed in 1880s, you know. So this can also be eliminated. You are left with A and D. And we have talked about this. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. They were the ones who wanted Indian representation in British House of Commons. And that happened in 1890s when Dadabhai Naoroji became the first Indian member to represent us in the British House of Commons. So the answer is D. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Do remember it. It's a tricky question and you have to keep it in mind. Very good. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. And then Dadabhai Naoroji, this sir is saying that he is good at everything because you will see him in so many different domains. MCQ 5, Zamindari Association was formed by A. Prasanna Kumar Tagore, B. Rabindranath Tagore, C. Firoz Shah Mehta, D. None of the above. Zamindari Association was formed by A. Prasanna Kumar Tagore, B. Rabindranath Tagore, C. Firoz Shah Mehta, D. None of the above. As Vastaram said, A. Prasanna Kumar Tagore, one of the followers of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Rabindranath Tagore was not even born at that time. Firoz Shah Mehta also not involved here. So the answer is A. Again, if you go back and you see, you will realize we have discussed this and you have to do the revision of these 12 organizations. A. Prasanna Kumar Tagore. Sixth question. Madras Native Association was a regional political organization formed in the year 1852, 1885, 1884, 1870. When was Madras Native Association formed? What is the answer of this question? Madras Native Association formed in 1852. It is one of the branches, you know. It is one of the branches. We have discussed Bombay and Madras. There are two branches of the organization which was formed in 1851 by the merging of Landholders Association and the organization formed by William Adam. So the answer is 1852. Very good. Okay. PYQ 7. So this is a question asked in UPSC 2020. I will tell you why I am asking you this particular question. First, try to solve this UPSC question. In India, separation of judiciary from executive is enjoined by A. Preamble of the Constitution, B. Directive Principle of State Policy, C. 7th Schedule, D. The conventional practice. Separation of judiciary from executive. Why we are talking about this particular question? Because we have just talked about an organization talking about separation of executive function, judiciary function, legislative function, and then Charter Act of 1853 happened, which actually implemented those provisions. So this separation of judiciary from executive is there in Article 50. There also we have talked about the example of earlier civil servant who used to be judicial magistrate as well. So executive and judiciary function were enjoined in one particular human being. So answer is B. Directive Principle of State Policy, Article 36 to 51. You have to keep it in mind. These articles are important. Do tell me, when we are talking about Directive Principle of State Policy, which particular, here history and polity are merging now. So which, very good here, very good Kritika, Bulbul, Charita. So Directive Principle of State Policy deals with which particular part of Indian Constitution? Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. So what is the answer? Let's say I ask you this particular question. What is your answer to this question? DPSPs deals with, I cannot skip these ads. These are non-skippable ads which I am seeing in front of me. Very good, Vastaram. Yes, sir. So, directive principle of state policy. Which part of Indian Constitution? Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. What is your answer, sir and ma'am? Charita has stated. Charita, where are you from? Vastaram, Charita, all of you have stated. That is Part 4 of Indian Constitution. Then this is an image. I don't know how much of you can see this image, which is related to like DPSP. It talks about welfare state or creating a welfare state. So here this image tells you the benefits of a welfare state as well as the criticism associated with the welfare state. Can you understand what is happening in this image? Please try to understand this. This will help you in understanding DPSP in a much better manner. Anyways, the sir, like Mishra sir, has started the polity crash course from today. So do watch it. You will understand these things in a much better manner there as well. But first of all, tell me this, how the welfare state begins, how the welfare state ends. What do you understand by this particular image? Anything which you can understand from this image? Very good, Charita. Where in Andhra Pradesh? Guntur, Nellore, Vijayawada, Kuthai. Farmer subsidy also. Very good, yaar. It's like Andhra Pradesh is confined to Guntur, Nellore and Vijayawada. I know those names, so that's why I stated those names. So yes, sir, what this particular image says is, actually this is important for you. So welfare state is what? Where there are certain people, some vulnerable people, few vulnerable people. As you can see here, they are sitting on a cart. So few vulnerable people are there, and those people are taken care of by maximum people who are working and who are paying taxes, etc. So these few vulnerable people, they can be widows, they can be old age guys, they can be, sick people. So they will be given some subsidies, rather pensions, I think Charita said. So they will be helped like that. And this is a welfare state. Scandinavian countries, Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, Finland, all these countries, Denmark, they are very good example of proper implementation of proper examples of a welfare state. This is a one question which I always ask people. Do find the difference between Nordic country and Scandinavian countries. And once you find the difference between Nordic country and Scandinavian countries, you can post it in the comment section. And then what happens? When this welfare state will end or fail, let's say, now we know these are some people who are vulnerable people, truly vulnerable people. Let's say I become a false or fake vulnerable people. There is an unemployment allowance also in some countries, some welfare state countries, where if you're not working, they will give you some unemployment allowance. And let's say that unemployment allowance is so high that I don't work. Like I will play PlayStation, I will play Need for Speed, I will play Road Rash game. In my time, that used to be the game. So I will do that. So in that scenario, what will happen? The number of vulnerable people will increase. And now this particular country or state is dependent on only few people for sustenance who will be doing work, who will be paying taxes. And that's why sometimes we taxable people who are paying taxes and high taxes, they're very angry when certain governments, they will introduce free policies that this is free and that is free. Nothing is free, bro. If I am paying taxes, my money is going. It's not like state government or central government is giving it from their pocket. So hope you can understand what is happening. Welfare state will end when the number of vulnerable people will increase. Whether they are fake or not, we don't know. But it needs a certain number of population. It needs a certain strata of population working in productive work to then only welfare state can function in a better manner. So people diminishing from the helper group. Very good. Finland, 7th happiest country. Awesome people. Let's move on. So again, articles related to DPSP, do have a look at these DPSPs. 44 Uniform Civil Code, anyway, very important. So these DPSPs, and also try to solve PYQs related to DPSPs. And you can watch the polity crash course that will help you in understanding these things in a much better manner. So I won't be extending this lecture anymore. And please remember these 12 organizations. We have solved, I think, 6-7 questions related to that, which were based on UPSC PYQs, some PYQs like questions asked by PSCs and some other MCQs. So do revise those questions as well. Today is Saturday. So I will upload this PDF in this Telegram channel on Monday morning. Fun study with Shubh, because study should be fun, I can upload it by tomorrow also. But if I am not uploading it by tomorrow morning, by Sunday morning, you'll be getting this particular PDF. And yes, if you have any friend of yours, serious friend of yours, who is preparing for 2026, not 2025, they can join our March morning batch starting from 24th March, 8 a.m., and you can use my code SHS Live to get maximum discount. Okay, first but seventh consecutive year as per recent happiness index. Okay, cool. India is in the happiness index 118 from 147. We generally top from the bottom in these indicators because these things don't matter much. Monday, we have class on Monday. You know, indicators, happiness indicators, hunger indicator, stress freedom indicator. Then we have other indicators also, social mobility index, more or less. That's why UPSC aspirants, they have an idea that what are the things which we need to focus on. But the people who don't know much about these things, they get fascinated by other stuff. Again, I'm venturing into a dangerous territory, so I won't go there. So that's it from me, sir and ma'am. I think I will see you people on Monday then at 7 p.m. Till then, take care. Be blessed. Oh, you people are talking about happiness index and Pakistan is more happier than India in happiness index. Oh my God. Look at that ranking. There is a song also related to that. Oh my. Okay, bros, let's focus and I will see you people on Monday, 7 p.m. Thank you so much, sir, for making study really fun. Study should be fun. Fun study with Shubh. Okay,